Here.
Senator Hoskins. Here. Senator Razor. Senator Trent. Senator Williams. Representative Boyd.
Here.
Representative Griffith.
Present.
Representative Nixon Clark. Representative Seitz.
Here.
Representative Smith. Chairman, majority of members present, you have a quorum established.
We have a quorum. Has everybody had a chance to look over the substitute? And does anybody have any questions? Representative Seitz,
Yes, to inquire and comment.
please proceed.
Thank you, Senator. I noticed that despite having passed in the House with 100 yes votes and working on this for 3 years, my House Bill 1117, attempting to create a day presented by the Senate and the House to return to its place of high honor, has been removed from this bill. I'd like to question maybe why has that been removed, having passed overwhelmingly in the House? And then I'd like to comment, but is there any reason that my House bill, which was 1117, it's actually House Amendment 8 to Senate Bill 139, why has that been removed?
Senator, there were just, or Representative, there were just some concerns on the Senate side with some of the language, and once again, they just had some concerns. So we did not want to, we've been, the underlying bill with the stars and stripes, we've been trying to get this as well for about 2 years. There is money set aside for this historic region right now that we didn't want to put in jeopardy.
Okay.
And so anyway, that was the reason that we pulled it out.
I appreciate that, and as a comment to that, and I'm in agreement with the Stars and Stripes bill, that has to move, and some of the other amendments that have been added to Senate Bill 139 are very important for the state, particularly for veterans such as myself. So I'm in whole support of Senate Bill 139, but unless I'm wrong, which I don't think I am, senators, not yourself, sir, but a senator's personal agenda involving his lifestyle is threatening good Republican legislation that has passed through the House. I think the removal of inappropriate material from the Capitol House Museum area, I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago, was wholly appropriate, and a single senator should not threaten a House member or 100 members of the House with removal of a bipartisan amendment for his own personal agenda. So I find that senator's actions to be appalling. And though I do support in whole the Senate Bill 139, I hope it passes. I hope it's signed by the governor. But despite our 100 House votes for 1117, which is House Amendment 8, I understand your removal because I do want the underlying bill to pass, and some of the other amendments, both Democrat and Republican, are really good amendments to the bill. And I'll come back next year and try to get this done. So I thank you, Senator.
Appreciate your comments, and we will work with you next year.
Thanks,
on that.
sir.
So any other comments?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Williams.
Did we remove anything? It's not working.
Yes, we removed, that's not the page that I removed. We removed House Amendment number 6, House Amendment number 8, House Amendment number 11, House Amendment number 1, House Amendment number 211, excuse me, House Amendment number 1, 211, House Amendment 1, 213, and House Amendment 16. I'll be glad to show you what I removed. Does anybody have any other comments? Representative.
Sorry, just a brief comment. I understand, there's been discussions about Amendment 16 not making it on, and I realize, we have to do what's best to pass the bill. But I just wanted to comment about that specific piece of legislation. That was, I think, Representative Wyndham's bill. In Pennytown, I believe it was an individual named Joe Penny who was a freed slave, and he bought about 64 acres of land, and it turned into a thriving community near Marshall, Missouri. And so it's historical, it's noteworthy. I understand may not make it in this time, but I'd like the body and everyone to consider next time maybe getting it through if it comes in front of everyone again. But I think it's a good amendment, but I understand it may not make it past the finish line this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Any further comments? Representative,
It's a comment.
please proceed.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to go on record to support Representative Seitz in his bill trying to get passed, and also in support of Pennytown Day. Just a note, Pennytown was once the largest black settlement in central Missouri, at one time home to about 1,000 residents on 64 acres. Pennytown was formed in 1871 when Joe Penny, a formerly enslaved person from Kentucky, purchased 8 acres of land for $160. By 1880, black farmers owned more than 1/3 of the land in the Salt Fork Township. And so it just talks about how Free Will Baptist Church of Pennytown was added to the National Registry of Historic Places in 1988, largely due to the efforts of Miss Josephine Lawrence and the Lawrence family. And so it is a designated day to celebrate the homecoming of and celebration of Pennytown. And so just wanted to go on record of why that was important and to support Pennytown.
Thank you.
And I'm on record as well. Representative Wyndham's worked quite hard on it, so I would encourage you guys to keep that on the bill as well.
Any other comments? Representative, do you have any comments?
No, and we heard when we added amendments, Representative Wyndham made a very compelling case for this. I think the story is something that I personally was not aware of. I think it's an amazing story. I really would not have any issues with keeping that in.
Please proceed.
And just briefly, and I wanted to echo what my colleague, Mr. Clark, said about Representative Seitz' bill. I was disappointed to hear that wasn't getting on. I know Representative Seitz worked very hard on that and was very dedicated, and I believe he made some compromises to get it through. So I was saddened to hear that it did not get on, and hopefully it comes through next year. Thank you.
Any further comments? Representative?
I also wanted to go on the record in support of Representative Brian Seitz. This has been something he has worked on for many years and has worked with leadership in the House to make sure it got passed out of the House. At first it was 5 years, and he worked to make sure, I think both sides agreed on 3 years. So I just want to go in support of his amendment.
Thank you. Any other comments? This will conclude our hearing, and I appreciate everybody being here. So, oh, I'm sorry. No. Senator, you go right ahead.
Well, as someone that worked 9 years to get Jim the Wonder Dog and Old Drum passed, a lot of these things I'm sure are very important to some of you, but I think this is a pretty good deal. It looks like three things that are actually my district. Pennytown is actually in Saline County, which I represent, and is not in there, as well as I think Waverly being the apple capital of the world, and Concordia being, I don't even know what designation Representative Gregory, the patriotic mural city of Missouri. So I think this is a pretty good package. Thank you, Senator.
All right. With that being said, we will conclude this hearing. Thank you. We will have a signing sheet right here if you'd like to sign the conference committee report.